Suspended public protector advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane testified for the first time yesterday at the Section 194 inquiry into her fitness to hold office, and she told the committee that her suspension came 2 days after opening the Phala investigation and that she heard of the suspension on TV news. Well, Mkhwebane has also aligned and alleged that the DA, the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution, as well as Freedom Under Law, had been working together to discredit her. So let's unpack her testimony with CASAC's Executive Secretary, Lawson Naidoo, joining me this morning. Lawson, thank you for your time and good morning to you. Very serious allegations against CASAC, against Freedom Under Law, the DA, as well as the majority ANC. This from the public protector, the now suspended public protector, saying that there seems to be a gang up of some sort by all these organizations and political parties against her since she first assumed office. Your reaction?
Good morning and thank you very much. Well, we reject wholeheartedly the suggestion that there's any form of collusion between CASAC and the Democratic Alliance or indeed any other political party. CASAC has certainly worked in conjunction with other civil society organizations and will continue to do so in order to strengthen our constitutional democracy. And in particular our Chapter 9 institutions. In the case of CASAC and the Public Protector, the action that we took was fully vindicated because we were a co-applicant, coincidentally, with the DA. There was no collusion there. We brought separate applications to challenge the Public Protector's report on the Free Dairy Farm, and we were fully vindicated by the court and indeed by the Constitutional Court, to the extent that the Constitutional Court imposed a personal cost order against Busisiwe Mkhwebane. And CASAC entered the fray there in order to vindicate the rights of the intended beneficiaries of the Free Dairy Farm project, something that the Public Protector had failed to do and instead focused her attention on protecting senior politicians in the Free State province.
Lawson, what do you think this accusation comes from? This accusation that you're trying to simply discredit her as a public protector?
Well, her strategy is quite clear: is to portray herself as a victim of some sort of conspiracy, whereas the facts are there for all to see. And what the public protector needs to do is to respond to the very serious and damaging allegations that form the basis of this inquiry into her fitness to hold office. The fact that there have been numerous judgments from the highest courts in the country that have cast aspersions on her integrity, on her conduct, on her capacity, and on her competence. What we heard from the public protector yesterday really sounded like a mitigation in sentence. Parliament has not made any decision yet, but she was seeking to portray herself as a victim of racism, of gender bias. But there are some serious facts on the table, which at some point Advocate Mpofu, who's leading her evidence, will have to deal with. Because that is the nub of what Parliament is here to look at. Is Busisiwe Mkhwebane fit to hold office? Has she committed misconduct? Is she incompetent? And does she lack the capacity to carry out the functions of that office?
I mean, 9 months in, 20 witnesses later, how would you analyze the Section 194 inquiry so far? Do you think it's a fair process? She seems to disagree, saying the process thus far has not been a fair one to her.
Well, I'm afraid that her comments on the nature of the process merely underscore her lack of appreciation for the Constitution and the law of the Republic of South Africa. This is a provision in the Constitution that provides for the removal of the head of a Chapter 9 institution. Parliament has put in place the necessary rules and processes for that, which she challenged in court and failed. So to try and undermine the integrity of this process is really clutching at straws. It is indeed the public protector and her legal team that have turned this into a quasi-judicial process and has dragged it out for as long as it has. And I'm sure we're going to see Busisiwe Mkhwebane on the witness stand for some days to come in order to further prolong this process and to delay the committee from reaching a conclusion and making a recommendation to the National Assembly.
Lawson, I'd like to also get your comment on Busisiwe's list, which she provided. She calls the untouchables. This is a list of untouchable people that she had investigated, and they include President Cyril Ramaphosa, Helen Zille, Malusi Gigaba, as well as Lynn Brown. What do you make of this list that she provided, and is it a reflection of truth, that these are people that seem can't receive or have justice prevailing as far as their names are concerned?
Well, I think it's, that sort of, those sorts of comments are totally irrelevant to the matter at hand. She's got to respond to the specific allegations that have been made against her in terms of her conduct and her capacity. The fact that she may have conducted investigations into a range of other people has no bearing or relevance to the matter before the committee. And this is really just a broad brush attempt to try and portray herself in a better light than is actually revealed from her actual conduct, which, as I said at the very beginning, has been the subject of severe reprimand from the highest courts in the country.
And we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for speaking to me this morning. CASAC Executive Secretary, Lawson Naidoo, thank you so much for joining me this morning.